Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one for you today. The key to a 4 and 5 digit XRP. I believe that David Schwartz, the CTO from Ripple, is going to give you that key before we leave this video today. Let's just go ahead and roll that beautiful intro. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove, and everything that we're talking about here, 1.6 trillion for the current crypto market cap collectively, and that's not a lot of money. We're used to 2.5, and we could even see more going forward, 3, 4, or 5 trillion into this space. And you know what? Before we get out of here today, I think David Schwartz is going to remind all of us of what the key to 4 and 5 digit XRP is. And in times like this, when price action really isn't the talk of the day, we know what we need to know. You know what support lines are there. You know what resistance lines are there. And until we start to see XRP start to move and challenge those things, and Bitcoin and all the other coins in the space, there really is nothing to do but drill down on what we know and what new news is coming out. And we're going to do that right now. So let's go ahead and get to it. XRP is sitting at 85 cents, ranging between 82 and 85 cents right now. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's start right here. Coins Kid says, if we fall into this channel, I'll call a bear market. Until that time comes, I'm full bull mode consolidation before continuation to 200K. And he shows here using the Bitcoin chart. I remind everybody that Bitcoin has dominance over the entire cryptocurrency space at this point. And I will also remind you that, that means this space is still really young, because the use case of each token, like what XRP is designed to do at its full-scale intended use to solve remittances, problems for payment providers and small medium enterprises and the financial industry and banking and central banking, for cross-border settlement and settlement of derivative products and things of that nature as well. That's the full-scale use intention for XRP. We are not even close to being there yet. So this is a really, really exciting market at this point. And kudos to Coins Kid, who's amazing, telling us what's going on with Bitcoin being dominant in the market at this point, regardless of what we know about it, until we see use case step forward and become the new watermark for what utility is brought to each network, will be represented and reflective in the price of that asset. Can't wait for that moment. Until then, this is Bitcoin really getting another tongue lashing here from the former Dallas Fed president, Richard Fisher. Listen to this 38 seconds here.
Okay, Richard, final question for you. Paul Tudor Jones says that 5% of your wealth should be in Bitcoin today. He also says 5% should be in gold. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, I've always felt, and I've stated for a long time, Bitcoin's a purely speculative medium, has no underlying value. We know now that the feds can break in, so much for anonymity, all that kind of stuff. And I really think it's a purely speculative medium. Some people are good at it. But for the average investor, I think it's a risk medium.
And there you have it. And that's all you need to know. And truthfully, everything is spot on in that. And it is a speculative asset, right? And yes, you can move value through it. But, I could have made a phone call today on my first cell phone, but it wouldn't be as easy to do with all the upgrades of the towers and the infrastructure in the system, or even if it is possible anymore to make a call with your first ever cell phone that you had. But that's what Bitcoin is. It's the first technology. It's the first coin out in this space. Like it or lump it, that's what we're looking at. So I think Bitcoin can make it long term, but it has some hurdles, right? And so does XRP with the lawsuit, but we deal with that every day too. GM says they're thinking and considering about accepting Bitcoin for a payment option for its vehicles. I immediately thought to myself, wow, we doing that bad selling cars? Because the reality is they're not talking yet about it holding it on its balance sheet. And that would have been the bigger news, right? This really is following suit of what Tesla had done. And now they've recently stopped it and said that once Bitcoin becomes 50% or better in clean energy, then they would then begin accepting it again. General Motors looks to be capitalizing on this to me because it's trendy. Right. So we'll see what happens here and if they actually do move forward. What has become very trendy is that there are $19 trillion firms that have bought Bitcoin. Yeah. Well, you know why. Digital Asset Manager reveals why, and I'll tell you why. And I think you know why. Because everyone's looking for a hedge because they realize that the dollar has been printed to exhaustion and the markets have been bought and bought and bought and they're overbought. And at some point, we're going to see a correction in the stock market, like it or lump it. And at some point, I would expect that we see a pay to piper moment for all of this money printing with a devaluation and debasement, which I could really make the argument that the pricing of fuel rising because of the cyber attack could be a cloaked version of pricing in that inflation, just as well as the cyber attack on the largest meat producer as well. So now you have food and fuel and lumber going through the roof. Now, the lumber wasn't a cyber attack as far as I know, but nevertheless, it seems in those three areas would be ground floor to start to price inflation. And that's what we're seeing, regardless of what they say caused it. To me, is the price return back to the pre-pandemic level? No. Well, then obviously they're pricing something in. Right? This is news from Michael Arrington here that Proppy will soon be rubbing elbows with world leaders at Davos. Woo! And shout out to Michael Arrington. And this is Proppy is named 2021 Technology Pioneer by the World Economic Forum. This will give us the opportunity to discuss the blockchain importance from government, registries, and the real estate industry with global leaders. Yeah, this is a whole nother aspect of, securities, offerings where you take real estate and you tokenize that real estate. You could take your deed and tokenize it and represent that on the blockchain. I think this is where everything goes. And at some point, you may see, jobs and careers like data entry and things of that nature really get reduced. Administrative assistant positions and things of that nature may still remain, but they are going to be hugely reduced in their in their scope of work, because a lot of what we're talking about for a lot of these different areas of career and industry will be eliminated. Think about a title company. If you can do a smart contract and everything's on the blockchain, who needs the title company at a certain point, right? I mean, certainly there might be just a node on this network where the title company, obviously puts a stamp seal of approval because of third party, acknowledgement to the sale, these kinds of things. But you see what I think you get the salient point here is that things are going to be streamlined because of this technology. And this goes outside of just talking about tokens. Now, this is exciting here because Swissborg says they're happy to announce they will support the XRP token, which offers institutions a fast, reliable option for sourcing liquidity. Swissborg app will allow XRP holders to exchange XRP with 16 cryptos and 15 fiats, all in one app. In case you didn't know, this is Swissborg right here, Invest in Cryptos the Smart Way, it says, and it goes ahead and shows you their app and their exchange, and you know what's on it. But what I found interesting when I went down into this little article here is in the conclusion, XRP is highly secure and liquid, being traded over 140 exchanges. Its consensus algorithm settles transactions in just 3 to 5 seconds. It can handle 1,500 transactions per second, making it the most scalable digital asset. With a 7-year track record, it is also highly stable, with negligible energy consumption when compared with other proof-of-work tokens. Keen to add XRP to your portfolio? The good news is now this is possible with Swissborg app exchange with the 15 different fiats and 16 different cryptos all in one app, and get the best price on every exchange with our revolutionary smart engine. Listen to this. Also keep your eyes on your email for another announcement about XRP in the coming weeks. Very interesting. And a new corridor opens here between Australia and Vietnam. So this is what I love about this, is things are still moving. The SEC and Ripple case is about a U.S. matter with the token and the company. And the reality here is the rest of the world is saying, we're moving forward, right? And I think they're moving forward because they know at a certain point here, we're going to get a resolution to the case. Now, I do want to say, and this is not to put ice water in anybody's veins, but I do want to say it does not mean settling the case or having a summary judgment doesn't necessarily mean that XRP, the asset, will have clarity. I'm just talking about the case having a settlement or a summary judgment. That doesn't have to mean that XRP gets clarity. So just wanted to be full disclosure on that. But you see things are moving forward here. We also know the Bank of England governor is showing a lot of caution and how they should be evaluating digital currencies and central bank digital currencies. I just wanted to highlight here, he reminds everyone, as far as he's concerned, Bitcoin and the like have no evidence of value stability. There's no inherent intrinsic value in itself due to the lack of support. It may have extrinsic value, non-essential value, in the sense that some people like to collect and own Bitcoin, but its extrinsic value is also very high. It's unstable. He also mentions that the term virtual currency is misleading because virtual currency is not a currency, and the term cryptographic assets is appropriate. Stable coins can be a means of storing value, and he goes on to talk about that in CBDCs. I thought it was funny that we highlight that the language, the verbiage, cryptocurrency is not a currency, right? Cryptographic assets. What did we always hear Brad Garlinghouse refer to XRP as a digital asset? This verbiage is extremely important to remember when you hear these central bank governors and leaders and presidents talk about crypto with a broad brush, or Bitcoin referencing the entire crypto space or digital asset space. They're not referencing every single thing. Central Bank, World Bank, AFIN launches CBDC sandbox with R3. We covered this yesterday. This is big news. The Asian region is launching a regulatory sandbox with R3 for cross-border payments and settlement with banks, and this is exciting. And we did show you the diagram yesterday that, in fact, the XRP token and ledger are involved and an option in that choice. So we'll keep an eye on that, as well as XDC. Don't forget about that. That is the token that was created as an afterthought because R3 forgot to make a token for the Quarter platform. All right, BIS launches Innovation Hub with Nordic Central Bank, focusing on central bank digital currencies. Is there a theme starting here, ladies and gentlemen? SEC versus Ripple. Congress will provide regulatory clarity anytime soon. Will they provide it? And the answer is, as far as the SEC is concerned, not as far as this year goes, right? Doesn't mean that they're not working on it. We do know that they formed a panel, a discussion. They're starting to talk and mull this stuff over, but there is still a bit of a road to hoe here. Just to go in on this and let you know where we are here in the U.S., being composed only by Democrats, the working group that's been compiled might only be able to go so far in its assertions and proposals. Still, it seems the United States Congress is finally moving forward, taking initiative. Talks about the cryptocurrency market cap, which was at $2.5 billion, currently at 1.6. Says the most high-profile legal case points out that Ripple lawsuit. It says this week the judge has extended the period of discovery for the SEC. And honestly, I want to chime in here, and I said this in the first video today, but I want to remind everybody that that may have been a move so the judge's case, once it's settled and they make a summary judgment here, that it's not able to be appealed because they gave the SEC that extra time, right? So now they can't appeal that they were, denied that extra time. For leading the company in the digital asset space, the lawsuit is taking forever. It sure is. Competition like Algorand powered 6 Clovers is flourishing, while prospective clients may be concerned about the legal repercussions. The blockchain firm, also wants to go public once the lawsuit is over. That can only happen if the lawsuit is really over, but a settlement could be costly for Ripple and its digital assets, as it may bottleneck the flow of XRP into the market for years. You know what they're leaning into in this article? They're leaning into this article that you won't be able to get this unless you're an accredited investor or better, right? Either accredited or a broker dealer or institutional level client. That's what they're leaning into, that statement right there. But a settlement could be costly for Ripple and for its digital asset, as it may bottleneck the flow of XRP into the market for years. I could see only one way of doing that, and that is to really change how you can get it. That is interesting. So we will keep an eye on how that develops with the court case. All right. This was an interview by Thinking Crypto, who did a great job. Shout out to you, Tony, again, man. Really great job on this. I want to play you a couple important clips here from David Schwartz's comments asked about, can central banks and JP Morgan, as example, use these private side chains? Listen to this really quickly.
Would a central bank be able to test a CBDC on a side chain? Would a likes of a JP Morgan be able to issue like a JPM coin like they did with Quorum on a side chain and test it out? And would it be private? And I know this is a loaded question.
Yeah, they could certainly do that.
There you go. Right there. Right? Yes, they could certainly do that. And he goes on to dig down into that deeper, and it's all great. And I'm skipping over incredible stuff, but I just want to take you to the next thing, which I believe will become the key to getting a 4 and 5 digit XRP. And I believe David Schwartz is going to tell you what that is right now.
Private, the Federal Reserve side chain and the Russian central bank side chain is private. How would that all work, and how does XRP fit within that?
Well, obviously, nobody can force either of those entities to do anything that they don't want to do. I would love to say, oh, they're going to have to use like XRP as their intermediate. But the other lesson that I've learned being in this business for a decade is you can't force your customers to do the things that you want them to do, because you won't have any customers. Like, this is a big leap in everything. And like, if we try to say, oh, you're going to get what you want, but you also have to, it's never going to happen. Like, building this system is going to have to some extent, be its own reward. But what's probably going to happen, what I foresee, is that these things are going to start out as walled gardens. If the Federal Reserve the Federal Reserve is probably not going to be a first mover here. There's going to be smaller countries that are more willing to experiment and have less existing infrastructure that they would need to change over. And they'll build these systems as walled gardens, and they'll heavily control them. And what will happen is people who are on both sides of the walled garden will be able to monetize the fact that they're on both sides of the walled garden. So if you're on a public blockchain and you're also inside this central bank system, you can facilitate people's payments to and from between those two ecosystems. And it will be your risk and your effort, and you'll charge a fee for that. And customers won't get the greatest experience, but it'll be pretty good. And what my hope is that once central banks start to get confidence that the system is working the way it's designed to, and they'll have an appetite to they'll have a big red button they can push to knock the walls down.
Right.
And when they reach the point where the walls, they don't see them doing any good, they'll knock them down. But I think what's going to happen in the short term is going to be the liquidity will come from the same conventional sources. So in the US,
and there you hear it right there. I mean, he's laying it down for you. And I mean, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. He's telling you what it is. You want 4 and 5 digit XRP? You're going to need that central banking system to knock down that walled garden, those intermediaries that are in between this transaction currently, right? And remember, this is a phase-in model, as Dilip Rao told us back in 2018, and nothing's changed about that. First, it's the software. Get them using the software. When they're comfortable with that, then get them looking at XRP and then using some transactions there. And then ultimately get them to hold XRP and use it, right? All right, listen to this real here.
Do I want to use XRP? So instead of the German bank holding Turkish lira, they could say, Akbank, are you able to accept XRP and give me Turkish lira? Here's 100 lira worth of XRP. Here's 1 million lira worth of XRP. And instantly that can be settled without having to hold balances. So that's the holy grail. That's the ultimate end goal that we're aiming for. But if you don't have connectivity, you can't even start.
And Ripple has been building the market infrastructure for years. Brad Garlinghouse even refers to Ripple as a blockchain infrastructure company. That means you're building the blockchain infrastructure for all of this stuff to even work on.
So first you get the banks connected. They do what they're doing today better. They like it. They build new services on it. Then they go, I want to do this in 100 countries, but I can't hold currencies in 100 countries. Well, guess what? You got XRP. So it's a phase strategy, but that's the way banking works.
It's a phase strategy, and that's the way banking works. And at some point, you get them to hit that big red button. They take this wall down, and they put XRP right in the middle. And that bank doesn't have to hold hundreds of currencies all around the world. They can simply hold XRP and exchange the value denominated in XRP to represent that currency that that other bank receiving it wants to get. And then they can convert that XRP to that currency they wanted in the beginning. So this is where we are. To me, this is the moment I'm waiting for, is a red button moment. People refer to it as a flip the switch. That is what we're waiting for. And they tell you that the model that Ripple has been doing with their software and the asset and the ledger is a phase-in model, and we're not there yet. And we know for a fact we need regulatory clarity in order to get there, to push that button. That's going to do it for me, guys and girls. Before I get out of here, I do want to remind you, Unstoppable Domains in just 3 hours plus from now. The countdown is on. You will be able to get new domain names here for .crypto. You can get .x, .wallet, .nft, .blockchain, .bitcoin, .888, .dao, .coin. All these are new domain names for the first time ever offered. Don't miss a chance to get yours today. Click the link in the description and the comment section, and I will catch all of you on the next one.